Hi guys, I know it's been a while, but I'm Michelle Bowler and welcome to the MLM Moms podcast.
We've seen countless people reach financial freedom with MLM businesses, and now it's our turn. Come join me while I implement real, powerful, and simple marketing tactics to build my six-figure business that most of the MLM industry is oblivious to. I'm Michelle Bowler, and welcome to the MLM Moms podcast.
Hey everyone out there, it is an early morning, but I knew I had to come out and record this podcast because the last few weeks have just honestly been really interesting and really pretty difficult, and I'm so sorry that I have been pretty absent from the podcast. I had a few health problems and other things just kept on, just some crazy life stuff. But I think it was just the universe making sure that there was some sort of balance in our life, because my husband got the news from the Army that he has been selected to be an Army active duty chaplain. So after 5, almost 6 years of blood and sweat and sleepless nights and hours of work, he has finally done it. And we are so happy. We're excited. We are going to be headed to Fort Campbell in the fall. That's his first assignment, and I am so proud of him. It's just crazy because it's funny, my husband has a job, like an actual long-term career. But so that was good news. But with all the craziness, my business, not completely, but a lot of it took the back seat for the last few weeks. I kind of did the bare essentials just to make sure everything didn't die. But one thing I did have to keep doing was train my new team member. But what's been interesting is I thought I had this whole training thing planned out so perfectly, and I didn't have it built yet, but the plan was in my mind, the plan was exactly what people needed should they come. And I was just going to create it as my people needed it, as I could, type of a thing. And it was just going to be the coolest thing my MLM had ever seen, right? So I told you guys I got my first recruit a few weeks ago, right? Well, these, even though these last few weeks have been interesting, luckily, even though I've been dealing with a lot, my new recruit has had a ton of stuff with the end of school year stuff with her schools, with her kids and school. So I wasn't hanging her out to dry while I was struggling, which was a big blessing. And there has been training going on, and the interesting part though has been how much I've learned from it. And I had this big old planning for my training, right? Well, I thought I had the master plan. I had spent time on this, and it was going to be the bee's knees. I was so confident. I just was so confident in this product that I had created, but it turns out my plan had holes. And I forgot some important things because I had my blinders on, focusing on what I thought would be amazing, important, and what would be helpful for me. And it was really interesting because I found myself one day just honestly really frustrated because I felt like now my plan was foiled, and the whole work, the whole schedule I had set up had been thrown off, and how was I going to make this work? And now I had to do even more work and all that. And I was spending a good amount of time just sitting there being frustrated, which I know is okay, but I was just staring at this problem. And then I remembered a quote I heard from Tony Robbins. I can't remember where I heard the quote, but I had it written down. So it's probably from a podcast somewhere. That's typically a podcast or a book. But he said, identify your problems and give your power and energy to the solution. And then a separate quote was, leaders spend 5% of their time on the problem and 95% of their time on the solution. Whew. Right? Like, that was a little bit of a burden taken off my shoulder, and at the same time, a kick in the pants to get me going again. Only Tony Robbins could do that, right? So I decided to shift my thinking. Instead of taking these questions, this negative feedback from my recruit, who you could call my customer because I put out a product, and she bought into it, right? I could take this negative feedback and be bitter, like I was. I could be frustrated that the product wasn't working perfectly or that it was time wasted. I could be frustrated that she wasn't seeing this whole magical vision. Or I could put my pride and ego down for a minute and let the market tell me what it wants. It's funny because this is something I've known I needed to do. This is like, it was a mentality that I knew I needed to have. And it's one of the reasons why I didn't feel like I needed to make all the videos or build it all out before I told anyone about it and let anyone on my team. Because then they could tell me what they needed as they went along. And yet, even knowing that already, I still let myself get stuck in the mindset that most people have, where negative feedback is a bad thing and I should throw up my pride and defend. But I know it's important to listen, and really it's the most helpful thing, because now I can make my thing better, right? And if my product is better, then my people will get better results, and which will give me testimonials, which will help me attract more people, and will help my people attract people. And this whole, this whole thing just grows and grows and grows. So I'm taking a deep breath. I'm keeping the big picture in mind, which is honestly really hard. But I'm remembering Tony and keeping my energy going towards the solutions. And some good solutions have already been coming. I've been really careful to keep notes so then I don't just fix things and send her a new training, and teach this new recruit something, because I don't want it to just fall in the cracks when everyone else comes. But I'm trying to keep things organized in a way that will actually change the product. So I know this is a short one, but I wanted to hop on here and talk about this so you guys realize how important it is to listen to your audience and welcome all sorts of feedback, because you can take it, analyze it, and let it make your product better. Because we're here to solve problems for people, right? Whether it's our actual MLM product or joining our team, our main focus in creating an offer is to solve the problems people have. That's how you know what to sell, right? You figure out what problem your target market has and solve it. It's the same when people are joining your team, though. You're handing them a whole bunch of problems with a business. That's what business is. It's problem solving. But the more you can solve for them out of the get-go, the more they want to be on your team, the more they are intimidated by the thought of MLM. Okay? But this negative feedback is the market telling you what problem they're having. And now you just have to figure out if you need to change the product or add something new to make the experience even better, right? But just don't get overwhelmed and ignore it. Whether you actually do need to solve it or there's going to be negative feedback that is just people being silly and all that kind of stuff. But just don't be stubborn, because that's what I was realizing I was doing. Don't be stubborn and think your thing is the bee's knees, okay? Because your product might be good, but there are probably flaws. Nobody is perfect. And think about how good your product could be if you would take some feedback. So again, I know this is a short one, but I wanted to share that with you guys, and hopefully it helps someone else like it helped me. Until next time. Bye.
Hey guys, if you've been working your business but feel like you need something to just turn it up a notch, email me at the MLMmomspodcast@gmail.com, subject matter free mini course, and let me send you guys this course I've created. It's 5 ways to boost your MLM now. It's all things that I have done and implemented that have really helped my business, and I know they will help yours. It's a series of 5 videos teaching you things that you can do this week to turn it up. Trust me, it'll help and you'll see changes very, very soon. So again, email me at themlmmomspodcast@gmail.com, subject matter free mini course, and I'll send that out to you guys. Enjoy.